Hello, welcome to episode 3 in the Datapack DevLog series. We've been working on the Infernal Additions datapack, mainly because we're going to be using it for the Dataland series. So Dataland series, if you didn't watch the last Dataland episode, is changing. Instead of being single player, it's going to be moved onto a server so other people can join and play. It's going to be free to join, but I wanted to use a datapack on it. And the Dataland one is a bit shoddy, really. It doesn't have all the advancements and stuff. The Infernal Additions is like the proper version. So let's have a look. What have I done? First thing I did is I've updated it to 1.2, 1.8. And because that's a new version we're going to be playing Dataland in. And I've added a few things. So we've got the same stuff we had before. We've got the gem and the dust, the mob locator. Oh, we've got the vertical teleporter. I think we added that last time, didn't we? We've got the RP. Well, RP means resource pack. That's just to check that it's using the resource pack for the text. Just so I know it's set up correctly for translations. So launcher, well, let's just eat one. We've done a tutorial on this before, but you eat one, up you go. Well, it would disappear from your inventory, but I'm in creative. And then you can use your elytra and fly away. That's the idea of that thing. We've got the storage gem. We've got the disenchanting book still. We've got the elevator. I've added that in, the elevator, and we've got a new thing called the Phase Essence. Phase Essence is dropped by Vexes, so that's going to be fun for you to get. It is used, I wish I hadn't done this because I love the elevator block, but it is used to craft the elevator block. And it will be used to craft another item I'm going to make, which is going to be, it's going to be an item that you can right-click and it'll let you phase through glass. Especially tinted glass. I'll probably just let it phase you through all glass. I like the idea of, being able to have a mob farm. If you want to go and fix it, you can just hold the phase items and just go vroom, and phase through the glass. That's pretty cool. We did a tutorial on it as well. So I think we just had it checking if the player was sneaking in front of the glass. We're actually going to have an item. And that item will use the phase essence as well. Let's put down the elevators. You've seen them before. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're not. Maybe you've never seen one of my videos before. It's the same elevator we're using, basically. I don't know why I gave myself 2. I'm in creative. And you can just go up and go down. But we've got all the advancements linked to it as well now. We can still camouflage it if we want. Might have to get a bit closer. There we go. So we can camouflage it to look like that. Up, down, up, down, up, down. It's quite fun. So I've been working on the advancements. We've got the save XP, store XP. There's another one hiding after that. You can't see it yet because it only shows you 2 deep, which is retrieve XP. We've got the elevator going up, blending in if you camouflage it. Basically, it's sort of like obtain one of the things and then use the thing. Those are what basically the advancements are. They're just to encourage people to explore and see which things they like. I've added all the compressible recipes as well from Dataland, so we can... if I get myself a piece of dirt. I've just learnt the recipes. In fact, that if you pick up any compressible item, it will teach you all compressible item recipes at the moment. Do I like that? I don't know. I might separate it out. So if you pick up dirt, it teaches you dirt compressible. If you pick up cobblestone, it teaches you cobblestone compressible. I'm not sure if it's worth making all the files. Because at the moment, I've just got one file. Just checks if you pick up a compressible item and just grants them all to you. Although there's another one as well. We have powered rails, which can be done by gold. I believe I also added somewhere powered rails that can be powered by copper. Do I have to pick up a copper ingot for that? I probably do. No, don't type copper. There's loads of the stuff. Type ingot instead. If I pick that up, there you go, another recipe. I've got the powered rail. Powered rails from copper. I don't know who suggested it. I can't remember, sorry. What a great idea. Why not use copper? We have copper wires in all electronics and stuff, so we've got copper rails. Okay, you might say, copper's a bit soft to run a train on. Yeah, but so's gold. So, it doesn't matter. And it's another use for all the copper, Anyway, our dirt, we can now compress it. There we go, compress it down into its block. And obviously right-click to uncompress again. Same for any of the compressible items. I haven't really made any nice icons for them. You can see that they've got names, like eggs is called a basket of blue eggs. Yeah, it's clearly not a basket. It's just a placeholder really. Bundle of arrows, I think that's okay. Bones, maybe we have a little pile of bones. Barrel of gunpowder, it's just one gunpowder. So the default is just I put a red outline around it. Oh, I did bunch of poppies. Oh, and the string one, which I got from the Nova Scheme website. That's quite nice. I like that one. And I do like bag of wheat seeds as well. We could have better icons for those, really. But I'm not too worried about it. I mean, someone might come along and say, hey, look, I've done you a really cool little icon for a bundle of bones. Can you use it? And I'll say, yeah, no problem at all. And I'll put a little credit to them in the data pack. Feel free to pass me textures. I'm not good at textures. Anything else? I think that's everything I've added. Oh no, I've added all the food. All the food is there. Well, I had big beef burger and chicken burger, and I thought, well, let's just add pulled pork burger and a mutton burger as well. Why not? And I set them all so they're all basic. They're all exactly the same. They give you the same amount of food back and the same amount of saturation. I thought about playing around with different levels, and I thought, what's the point? Just keep them the same. Are people going to use them? Probably. But I'm thinking I'm going to make a piece of food that uses Infernal dust. Maybe we put a bit of dust in the middle of something and it supercharges the food, so the food's really good. So people might end up using that. At the moment, obviously, the dust recipe is relatively expensive. Oh, got so much stuff there. Let me get rid of all these. And let's just get a... Oh, I've picked up the copper as well, so I've just picked up a load more recipes. Let me empty my inventory. Let's just do a clear, because I've got stuff hiding. There we go. Just so we can see the recipes easier. Let me just get that. And that. Okay, so if you want 2 dust, you have to first make yourself a gem using that. So you make 1 gem as a diamond. So you're already using 1 gem, and then you grind it down. At the moment, this is a placeholder recipe as well. If someone comes up with a better one, just let me know. Suggestions. I'm up for suggestions. People can play with the pack and say this is far too easy, or this is far too hard. I am happy to change it. So the rest is pretty cheap, really, isn't it? I mean, farms for all of those. So 1 diamond gets you 2 dust. That's quite expensive. So you're talking 1 diamond for 8 launchers. I know you only use 7 core as fruit, but I just felt let's stick to the multiples of 8, 16, 32. It was 7, but I didn't like it. So some of these things are quite expensive. That's going to be the annoying one because of the phase essence. You have to go and kill some vexes. But I like the idea of that because it gives me a reason to actually go and maybe... I mean, think if you make a raid farm, you're not killing vexes, are you? I don't think so. I don't think vexes are killed. I've never made a raid farm, so I don't know. I think they're probably built so vexes don't spawn, because otherwise the little player standing there bashing away is going to get attacked by vexes. So this having to use a phase essence, I am going to be setting off some raids because I want the elevator block. And I wouldn't mind having the block that lets me face, or the item that lets me face through glass. That's going to be a one-time item. You make it, and it'll work forever. You just stand in front of the glass and sort of right-click it. It's not going to have durability or anything. And even if I did add that, it would be cheap to repair. So I don't know if Infernal Dust is too expensive, too cheap. I mean, that's going to be found out when people are playing, basically. They'll say, oh, God, this is too hard to get, or this is just stupidly easy. Hopefully people will tell me if things are too easy as well, rather than just go, hee, look, I can craft this really easy, I'm happy. I want it to sort of extend the game a little bit, make it a bit more fun, a few more options, rather than making it so you finish the game quicker. Make it so there's a bit more to do. That's why I added the phase essence. I think it was Duick Zero who said have the vexes drop like an essence you can use for the phase thing, and I thought, do you know what, I like that. Just because it's going to force me to go and do raids. I mean, I never do raids. What's the point? Totems? I don't ever use totems. I usually find a totem is rubbish. If you're being attacked by mobs, you just die. You come back with 2 health and you die again. It's kind of pointless. The one time they are useful is if you've got a laggy connection and you're flying within a elytra, just in case you fly into a wall. They're quite handy then, I suppose. So what I wanted to add next was the teleport gem. We used it in the Dataland series. The teleport gem, so you can run along, you can squiz down and go bing, save those coordinates, and then you can use the gem to teleport back to those coordinates. The gem will be used up, but you can also sort of save the coordinates, save coordinates, and then transfer those coordinates onto another gem, rather than transfer, copy the coordinates to another gem. So if you go somewhere once, you can store its coordinates and then create lots of gems. I like that for this data pack because on the server, I think if you're a non-member, you just get one home, only one. But with these gems, it doesn't matter. You just go off, go to wherever you want, save the coordinates, and then copy the coordinates onto other gems, and you can get back there easily whenever you want to. So I like that one, getting around. We've got the Elytra launcher as well for getting up high. So next is teleport gems. Then we're going to add the phase through glass thing. I've got some real rough notes. Might as well have a look at them, actually. So return teleport item. Oh, some food that uses the dust. I mentioned that. Omelette. We're going to, I don't know, food items. That was a suggestion from Duico, I think. Cobblestone to gravel to stand to clay or mud. Dirt recipe or clay recipe. Something that makes sand renewable. Like, this is the main thing. Gravel, I mean, you usually end up with too much. Sand is not renewable. So, some way to get sand renewable. Don't know how. Not sure. I might add the sacrificial fire that we did in one of the last tutorials. That would be pretty cool. Maybe use that for duping, and we can make it really expensive. I think I used a nether star to create it, but because it's not using a crafting recipe, you can have custom data. So you could say you have to craft 9 nether stars together into a mega nether star and throw that onto the campfire to create the fire. Something a bit more end game, because then once you've got it, you can then use it to dupe. Maybe you could use it to dupe Infernium dust and stuff like that. So maybe gems and dust. So how do we make them a bit cheaper? You make your sacrificial fire using 9 nether stars, and then you throw on, maybe you just throw on an emerald, and it takes the soul of a mob and turns the emerald into an Infernium gem. That might be all right. Or maybe it takes the soul of like 2 or 3 different mobs, because you have to kill a mob near the fire to get the soul collected by the fire. So if you just wanted skeleton mobs, easy. You just make a little skeleton farm, don't you, and drop everything on top. But what if you needed to use... So make an Infernium gem, you had to put an emerald on, and you needed to have a skeleton soul, a spider soul, and a creeper soul. And they would use 1 soul of each and an emerald and create you an Infernium gem. Do you know what? The more I say it, the more I'm liking that. I always make generic mob farms anyway, and they do make skeletons, spiders, and creepers. So all you'd have to do is drop them down onto the sacrificial fire, or you just have to kill them within 5 blocks. That'll save up loads of souls, and then you can use those souls. It's going to be interesting, because then you're going to have to design a soul collecting farm or something like that. Which I just say, the more I'm saying it, the more I like it. Let's put that. I'm going to put that down under the ideas. Actually, I'm going to put use sacrificial fire and many types of mob soul to turn an emerald into Infernium gem. Okay, and then once you've got the gem, you can grind the gem up. Well, you still got the problem that to grind it up, you need TNT and pistons. Maybe you can put the gem on the fire. If you put the gem onto the fire, it uses different mob souls. So it'd have to be a different fire using different mobs, or so you'd have to do a different farm, and it converts 1 Infernium gem into dust. Maybe even like 2, or maybe even 3 dust. No, I stick it at 2, but it uses souls to do it. I kind of like that idea as well. And then you've got to make 2 farms. One to get the Infernium gems and one to get the Infernium dust. And it'd be sort of endgame, because I mean, once you've killed 9 withers, you know, I mean, you're reasonably endgame then anyway, aren't you? So it doesn't really matter if you're going to be duping these. Their thoughts, any thoughts that I mentioned, just, you know, let me know what you think. You should just say, "Oh my God, don't do that," or "Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, actually." Let's have a look at what other things. I don't know if there's anything else. So they've got these here. Yeah, I kind of like that. Those are the ones I'm focusing on at the moment. What do we got? Oh, these are blocks we can use. Actually, I've just used the test instant block, so we can't use that anymore. I've used the structure block and the jigsaw block, so we can't use them anymore. So I've got test block and command blocks. They are used as crafting ingredients in the crafting table. So we have, for instance, the Infernium gem. That is a jigsaw block, I believe. Or if you've got the dust, that is a structure block. And if you've got the phase essence, that is a test instance block. Now I've got the resource pack on. If I take the resource pack off, everything, I mean, I don't like it personally, if you take it off. I will certainly be playing with the resource pack on. And they're so easy to download and just, you know, enable, disable. I think most will. Everything sort of, you see the burgers have just turned into their defaults. Everything's gone to its default stuff. Elevator's just the same. So, I mean, it looks all the same, and I've made the names and stuff really different, so it's obvious that you're, you know, looking at something different. But, problem is, recipes, you can see it just says structure block and it just says test instant block. So you're going to have to be aware. So somewhere I need a warning, sort of like, hey, if you're not using the resource pack, then a structure block is actually Infernium dust. A test instance block is actually the phase essence, and a jigsaw block is actually the Infernium gem. I wish I could change that without a resource pack, but I can't. So, tough. Everything still works. Everything still works absolutely fine. Just could be a bit confusing if you didn't bother reading anything. So any sort of, I suppose, documentation that goes with the data pack, the first thing, I think literally the first thing that has to be said is, hey, if you're not going to use the resource pack, these 3 items look like this. Just so people know. Use the resource pack. I spent ages making it. I'm going to put it back on because I prefer it. Whoop. Okay, now I was quite happy when I upgraded this to 1.2, 1.8 because basically nothing needed fixing. It just worked. Obviously, I'm not using anything that needs fixing. I think probably because we had, in the data land, we did have copper armor and we did have emerald armor, and I reckon those probably would have broke. Am I going to add them to this? I might. You know, I might do it just to see how it's done in the later versions. And then I'd make a tutorial on it. I don't know if it's worth it, though. I mean, although, saying that, when I was playing Dataland, I used a lot of those copper pickaxes. I used loads. They were fantastic. So maybe it would be worth it. Just to fill in that little gap until you've got enough iron. Maybe I will. Maybe the copper. And the emerald, the idea of the emerald was going to be better. You were going to be able to add abilities to it. You know, I should do it, shouldn't I? I should do it. We should keep expanding it. Let's go and check my little list. I think they're oxidizing copper armor tools. Yeah, copper armor attracts lightning. That's a do it one. Horse armor should only be in loot chests. That's probably true. Backdrops. Where's emerald? Here, got emerald there. So, okay, so copper and emerald are both mentioned. So they're in my notes. Blocks that do something. Not sure if I'm going to be doing this. It's going to require more ticking commands. I do have a little bit ticking at the moment. We're ticking the player for the elevator. I'm trying to... Why are we ticking them? Oh, to see if they're crouching. That's it. See if they're crouching or standing on top of the elevator. And we're also running, for the elevator again, we are running a function every second. It's not too bad. But I would rather keep ticking things down to a minimum, so I don't know if we'll be adding anything there. And I've never made a custom block that does anything, a processing block. So, tempted. Emerald Tools and copy, yeah, we know all of that. Wand of Levitation, I don't know what I was thinking. Just interesting. The invisible item frame trigger. It would be ticking, but it would only be checking a score. So I'm tempted to add that. You know the thing where you want to do a bit of you want to do a bit of decoration, so you stick an item frame down on there, and then you sort of do trigger an IF. It's if item frame invisible. If you've played with that data pack, I can't remember. I think it's statues data pack, and you run that, and it does a little raycast in front of you, and it finds the item frame and makes it invisible, so you can do decoration. I reckon we should have that. In fact, I'm going to take that and put it up onto the main sort of notes up here and put that up there. Find a use for diamonds, seeds. God knows what we're going to do with seeds. Oh, yeah, use original flowers. Dupe. Yeah, maybe. Coal, chicken eggs, dragon eggs. Chicken eggs can be food. Copper, we got the rails. Maybe more stuff as well. Recipes for an elytra. Do I want a recipe for an elytra? If we do, it can't be easy. Maybe even if it used a nether star. Something. I always use that as the go-to hard thing to get. I mean, the nether stars. It's not hard to get. It's tedious to get unless you build yourself a wither skeleton farm. But then there's the bonus, isn't there? For someone who goes out their way and builds themselves a wither skeleton farm and then kills, 50 withers and has 50 nether stars, they can make a load of stuff and they could sell it. They can sell it to other people if they're playing multiplayer. Waystone and world anchors. That's something I would love to stick in, but I think with the teleport gems, probably leave that off. Some way to get enchanted books without enslaving villagers. This is something I still can't think of what to do, but I really want to do. And maybe a few custom paintings. Again, you'd need the resource pack. Some few custom paintings, banners, trims. Anyway, I've waffled on enough. Those are the kind of things I am thinking of. This is where we are at the moment with the data pack. We've got all these. Oh, I didn't show you. We do have now food is sort of, it's got its own advancement screen. Now, my thought was I'll put burgers in a line. So if I did eat a chicken burger, why don't I eat a chicken burger? Let's get one. Put one back. If I eat one of them. Now, all the advancements are just called Let's Eat. And the only reason I've added it is so people can see what food is available. So they can see, I can have a beef burger, chicken burger, mutton burger, pulled pork burger. When you pick up steak, you learn beef burger. When you pick up cooked chicken, you learn chicken burger. Same for those. So burgers are in a line. And I thought what I'd do is I'd have another one down beneath. And that maybe would be all things made with eggs or all different sandwiches or all different types of soup would be in a line. The main reason, the categories won't be, hard and, strict. They'll be quite loose. The main reason is so you don't either have one massive long line that the player has to scroll across, or you have one massive long ladder that the player has to scroll up and down. You're going to have to scroll up and down and across a bit, but they'll be laid out a little bit nicer. And the only idea is that a player that's kind of bored can just come along and go, can I find every food item? Which one's best? Can I eat them all? And they can come along in here. You'll see that if I get rid of the advancements I've got, it'll just show 2, and it'll say, eat a beef burger. Well, how do I get a beef burger? And they're probably going to go and get a cooked steak. That'll teach them the recipe. Should do anyway if I pick up a cooked steak. I've learned the recipe for beef burger. There we go. And then you go, oh, that's simple enough. Just steak and bread. I've got some beef burgers. And then they'll eat that one. And then that'll unlock another one. They go, chicken burger. blah, blah, blah. You got the idea. I am super waffling. I shouldn't be because I'm really waffling about just pretty boring rubbish and I don't have time. I want the video to be a bit shorter so I can render it quicker because it's already I was going to say it's already 9:30. It's not. It's already 10:10. What's going on? Right. Anyway, have a great day. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.